Hi, I'm Camie Nelson, and I am the finance assistant at ClearPath Healthcare, and I went to Camp Sunrise when I was 13. I wanted to talk about grief with children and the way that they process and the words that they hear adults use when they're experiencing their grief. Some of the words that adults use to describe children are resilience, are strong, are brave, and are fine, are okay. And in my experience, none of those words described what I felt, but none of the adults knew that because I seemed fine on the outside, or I was cheerful or laughed or played like a kid does. Didn't mean that that's how I felt or how I was processing my loss. What I would like to say to the adults of the children that are experiencing grief is that a lot of times kids think they need to be okay. Kids think that they need to resume life because it feels like that's what's expected of them when we use those words to describe what we think they're going through. And a lot of times that doesn't fit. And a lot of times kids need to be surrounded by people who support grief on purpose. And that is what Camp Sunrise does. They intentionally support kids who are going through grief. They intentionally create a program where, in my experience, I went through a ropes course, and at the very end of it, I just remember feeling elated that I got through it. It felt impossible. It felt like something I couldn't do. And then at the end, when I did get through it, I remember feeling really emotional and crying like, oh, I did it. I felt so successful. And then I kind of had this moment of like, I can get through other things. I can do other things and be successful. And then I kind of felt like it's kind of, you don't have to be sad either. You can get through the feelings that you feel. You can move forward. And at camp, they intentionally set these different activities up to where kids get to experience that feeling and can relate it to their grief. You know, my experience at camp, I connected with the camp nurse, and she just talked to me. She didn't talk to me about my loss. She didn't talk to me about grief or sadness or processing. She just talked to me like I was a human. And we related over nursing. Her camp name was Nightingale. And she shared with me about Florence Nightingale, who pioneered nursing. And I just bonded with her over that. And she just talked to me, and she shared her story about becoming a nurse and why she's a nurse and all of the reasons why it was so important to her to be at camp. That didn't have to do with fixing people. And I just remember feeling so grateful that an adult talked to me, treated me like a human, didn't treat me like I was broken, didn't avoid me because they didn't know what to say. She was there with an intention, and I felt it. And it really made a difference in my life. And I've just been grateful for her for a really long time. She helped me kind of get to the other side of grief, where it didn't have to be sad. I didn't feel like I needed to grieve in order to not forget. I didn't feel like I had to be okay to make everybody else okay. It just was okay to move forward. I didn't have to be stuck, and I didn't have to move on, but I could move forward. And I think that's the main thing I took from camp, and why I would encourage other adults who have children or are part of a child's life that have lost somebody to let them go to camp, because there's so much more than just talking about a loss or being okay or not okay. There's a lot that you can get from camp that you just can't get from somebody who's not doing that intentionally. And that's what Camp Sunrise does for kids. They go to intentionally help, and they have the skills to intentionally help kids.